Sanibonani, Dumelang, Avsheni. Welcome back to another episode of Jenni Self-Care Lab. It is Mindful Mondays, so you know we're talking ingredients, brands, or products. And today we are covering the most popular kid in school, the one who's friends with every single crew. She's friends with the non-nerds. She's friends with the cool kids. Literally, everybody loves this kid. Acts like a beetroot, goes everywhere on the plate, is a multi-dimensional queen. And literally, if you don't have her in your cupboard, I don't know what you're doing. You're not taking your skin seriously because you're missing out, and she's the girl she thinks she is. A multifaceted queen, I tell you. And today we're talking about niacinamide. Niacinamide. There's no one, surely there isn't anyone in this world who's like, I don't know what that is. Niacinamide is everywhere. It's in everything. The people love her. She's for every skin type: oily skin, dry skin, combo skin, sensitive skin, acne prone skin. Like, there's no skin type that she's like, nah, I can't play with you. That's why she's that girl at school, because she is friends with every single person. Okay, so we're going to be diving into niacinamide. I've tried as far as possible to make this short because niacinamide has so much about it. Like I said, she's a queen who has a lot of different personalities, a lot of different lives, that it could take a while to unpack her. So I've tried to select just some key things. What is it? What are the benefits? In what kind of products do we find it in? I don't even know that that even matters, because we can pretty much find niacinamide in everything, but I will cover some anyway. And then some top three, top four things that we need to know about it in terms of when we're using it in skincare specifically. I will do a different video on foods that have the different vitamins, and within that I will cover vitamin B3, which is basically niacinamide. That's what it's also known as, vitamin B3 or nicotinamide. And so I'll do a separate video that talks about what kind of foods, why is that helpful from putting that into your body. So today we're only going to cover niacinamide from the perspective of skincare. So niacinamide plays a crucial role in maintaining super healthy skin, that healthy glowing skin, and it is widely used because of its multifunctional benefits. And so we're going to cover some of the benefits. There's six of them. There's actually six of them. So we're going to go through them slowly and just see what we learn. First and foremost, it is suitable for all skin types. Acne prone skin and sensitive skin specifically, it will help you with reducing inflammation and redness. And that is because niacinamide has anti-inflammatory properties. And so it will help with reducing the inflammation, particularly when we talk about acne. This is where you might have a certain type of acne that is super inflamed, like your pustules and your papules and so on. And any kind of acne really where you do have inflammation, this will help with that inflammation. And then, of course, the second thing is improving your skin barrier function, which again, we're going to do a separate video on barrier function because it is such an important part of developing, maintaining, nurturing healthy, glowing skin. And your skin is not going to glow if it's not healthy. Okay, like, your skin needs to be healthy for you to see that glow come through. And so for protecting this glowing skin and developing this glowing skin and nurturing that, your skin barrier is super important to that. And niacinamide improves the skin barrier because it strengthens the lipids in the barrier, which I'll unpack in a different video. But essentially, there's things called lipids, and it strengthens that thing, and that thing strengthens your skin barrier because it increases ceramides, the production of ceramides, as well as fatty acids in the skin. And so it's almost just encouraging the natural process of the skin to continue being strong over time. It also helps with retaining skin moisture, particularly the transepidermal water loss. And that is another topic that I'll include when we talk about skin barrier, because in fact, if I remember accurately from one of the other videos which we shared around ethnicity, race, and ancestry as it relates to skincare, African people have actually been found to have a higher or more rapid loss of water basically. So transepidermal water loss rate is higher in African people. And so this is why it is so important that we look after our skin barrier, because our skin barrier is where we lose moisture. Most products that we actually put on our face, and I think I've mentioned this in another video, is a lot of products don't actually get absorbed into the skin. A lot of them just kind of stick on the top layer of the skin on the epidermis. And that is because a lot of it evaporates once we put it on. You could find certain products evaporating as much as 80 to 90% of the product evaporating, with only about 10 to 5% of the product remaining and actually getting absorbed into the skin. And I think the absorption would actually be much lower, would be around like less than 2%, sometimes even less than 1%, which is why you will also find that a lot of products in the skincare market right now are catering to absorption, right? So penetration. So they help with penetration and absorption. So products like your VT Riedel are there to help with the absorption, and they increase absorption by 14%, because most products don't actually go into that second layer of the skin, let alone the third. However, with that said, even though most products are not actually absorbed into the skin deeply, over time, when say let's call 2% of a particular product is absorbed into the second layer of the skin, and let's say 0.01% of that is absorbed into the bloodstream past the third skin layer. It may not necessarily, it may be a very low dosage, but there's a reason why certain ingredients are not allowed in skin, because such low dosages over time add up to a higher number, which could be non-beneficial to the skin, or even worse, it could be harmful. And that is why sometimes you may see the big organizations that are responsible for certifying the skincare industry would say, look, we're recalling a particular product because we found that it has trace amounts of X ingredient or X, substance, and that substance is harmful to the human body, the human, immune system, or how we function. And so, yes, maybe one little product, may not necessarily be harmful in and of itself. But if you've been using this product for 6 years and each time 0.01% is entering your bloodstream, over time, that could become super harmful. And obviously, I'm using 6 years and just numbers out of examples, but I'll do a separate video because I do know that there's been certain products recently recalled, and that can sometimes cause quite a huge scare for all of us as skincare users. But the reality is all of us have skin, and all of us care about skin, and all of us buy products for our skin. So it's just a matter of truly understanding what this actually means. But anyway, all of that is to say, niacinamide improves your skin barrier, which is super important. Third is that it also minimizes pore appearance. Now, I've shared this before in a reel on Instagram. Listen, no one's taking away your pores. No one is shrinking your pores, okay? The pores you have, the pores you're going to die with. They're not going to suddenly disappear. There's no product that's going to be like, yeah, after this, you have no pores, baby. I mean, unless it's a gimmick or a marketing line that's like, pores no more. But the reality is your pores are still going to be there. They're still going to be the same size. They're not going to shrink. However, there's certain products that help make the appearance of the skin itself look smoother, and therefore the appearance of the pores look more minimized. That is why the correct way to put it is that a particular ingredient or a particular product will minimize the appearance of your pores. It doesn't actually minimize your pores, but niacinamide is quite popular for this one. 4 is it does improve skin tone and pigmentation. Again, one of the most popular things we know niacinamide to help with is even toned skin and pigmentation or hyperpigmentation. So it works really well with vitamin C, which though I will caution, because while it can be layered with vitamin C, you always have to I was actually chatting to someone about this recently. You actually have to check the box that your product comes in, because The Ordinary, for example, when I first purchased my niacinamide 10%, 1% zinc, it specifically said, do not mix this with vitamin C. And I was so glad to see that, because the first time I had used it, I had mixed it with the vitamin C because I was like, oh, we're layering. We're getting the best of the best of, we're trying to get in there and do the most. And needless to say, I was itching all day and I didn't understand why. And then my skin was super dry and scaly, only to realize after looking at the box that it said, do not mix this with vitamin C. So while niacinamide and most vitamin Cs can be layered and can play together well, you do have to make sure that you're reading the box of either of both the vitamin C and the niacinamide to actually understand whether or not those two can be mixed together, because some products will specifically tell you not to mix them with a niacinamide or not to mix them with a vitamin C. And that could be because of other, it could be because of the formulation and therefore other ingredients within the formulation that maybe don't play well with a vitamin C, for example, or vice versa with a niacinamide. So just keep that in mind. But ultimately, niacinamide does play well with vitamin C and other brightening agents. It basically, in terms of improving your skin tone and pigmentation, it helps with the it inhibits the transfer of melanin to the skin surface. And so that is how it helps to keep your skin evened out and free of pigmentation. The fifth thing is it does help with anti-aging and wrinkle reduction. Now, I don't know that I would say that I've seen this in action, to be honest, and I use niacinamide quite consistently. And maybe that is why I'm not seeing brand new wrinkles all the time. So maybe that's what it's actually doing for me. But I will say that it's not my go-to in terms of like when I see actual wrinkles and I'm like, oh, I need to get rid of that. Like my eye cream, I'm not like, oh, I need to look for an eye cream with niacinamide. If anything, I'm like, I need an eye cream that either has coffee or that has retinol. And ginseng actually helps as well. That's why I use the Beauty of Joseon. But it basically, niacinamide promotes production of collagen, which is how it helps with anti-aging. And then last but not least, which is also 100% true, and I think is maybe the most popular thing it's known for, is it helps control sebum production. So for those of you who have acne, there's no way you have not heard of niacinamide, because she's that girl. She's known for it. She helps with the production of oil. I use niacinamide specifically when I know that, okay, I'm getting to that part in my cycle where I typically get breakouts, then I'll use like a niacinamide something. I think that and the pigmentation is probably the two most popular things that it's known for. After and followed by the pore appearance. All right, so oily skin, acne-prone skin will benefit from niacinamide. The nice thing with niacinamide, like I said, it plays with everybody. So whether you have dry skin, sensitive skin, like it's pretty cool. The only thing with sensitive skin, which is actually part of my last 3 or 4 bullets of things that you really need to know, is for sensitive skin, you might want to maybe try a lower dosage of niacinamide first. Typically, it's the 10% and higher that might be irritating to sensitive skin, but some people have a different level of sensitive skin where it's really sensitive. So what you might want to do is do like a simple dosage. And so, for example, and sometimes it's also the formulation, right? Because within the niacinamide serum, let's say, there might also be like TXA, or there might be like zinc, or like there might be some other ingredient that is actually, or you might be layering it with a strong vitamin C, and maybe that's causing the irritation. But nonetheless, you always want to, if you have super sensitive skin, just start with like a light percentage. Okay, I know people want to be out here buying like 55% of vitamin C, 55% of niacinamide, like just start with a lower percentage if you have sensitive skin. If you know yourself and you're prone to breaking out, you're prone to getting red or scratchy or itchy or whatever the case is, if you just look in the wrong direction like me, always try with a lower dosage. And if the lower dosage is going good, then it's great. Then you can increase that to 10%, and make your way up as you go along. But typically 10% is it's kind of like between 1 and 10%. That's the range. It is safe for both morning and evening use. So that's, like I said, the girl is she's a do-it-all. Morning, evening, agnandaba. Afternoon, if that's when you're showering, agnandaba. You can use her. Of course, always use SPF Niacinamide, I've never actually read niacinamide to make you sensitive to the sun, but of course, if you're going to wear anything in the morning as part of your skin routine, you should always be wearing SPF and reapplying every couple of hours, which is super helpful. Um, it can also be layered beyond vitamin C. It can also be layered with hyaluronic acid and retinol. Now, I've never personally layered it with retinol. Again, I do suggest that you read the box because it's not every single vitamin C or every single retinol that can be layered with a niacinamide. Some of them will tell you, some brands will tell you, like, you cannot mix this with a retinol. But in general, most retinols, most niacinamides should be able to go together. All right, you will find niacinamide in serums. I think that's where it's most popular. It is popping up a lot now in moisturizers and creams. And I also think I've seen like a couple of cleansers, not so many toners, but apparently there is some. It's a very popular ingredient. I would be surprised if there's anyone out there that doesn't have, like, okay, maybe not anyone, but I'd be surprised if a good chunk of people do not have something niacinamide in their skincare routine, even if you don't know it, because some brands don't maybe call it out directly, but if you read the label and you read the ingredients, you are likely to find that niacinamide is included. Sometimes it's maybe not the shining star of the product, so maybe they don't call it out specifically, maybe they call out a different ingredient, but niacinamide is pretty popular in skincare, and it will probably remain so because it plays so well with all the other kids. That is it. That is it. Okay, so those are the basics of niacinamide. I'm not going to go into anything deeper for niacinamide. Like I said, I will cover vitamin B3 and vitamin B complex as a whole in a separate video when we talk about how we need to ingest certain things to make our skin glow. And these are not extra things. These are not things that like we're not familiar with. You will find that when you look at healthcare, when you look at skincare, when you look at hair care, when you look at just overall wellness, you will find that a lot of foods pretty much play the same role in all of these. And so if you could just be shopping in a particular manner and always including certain types of foods in every time you shop, you should be good. By and large, you should be good. Obviously, barring any, personal medical history and that kind of stuff, because some foods that are good for all, some people could become really detrimental for somebody depending on their medical history and the issues that they've had there. All right, that is Mindful Mondays with niacinamide. I hope that was helpful. Let me know your comments, your questions. Like this video, share it if there's somebody you think would benefit from seeing it. And we will see you on the next installation of Mindful Mondays, and we'll see you tomorrow on Transformation Tuesday. Have a fabulous day further.